power of the mind is often underestimated, yet it holds the key to unlocking our greatest potential. Today, we are going to explore how your mind is truly your strongest weapon, a force capable of transforming your life and the world around you. Let me share a story with you. There was once a young woman named Luna who grew up in a small village with limited resources. From an early age, she was told that her circumstances defined her future. But Luna had a dream to become a renowned scientist and make groundbreaking discoveries that would benefit humanity. Many people laughed at her aspirations. They said, how can a girl from a poor village with no proper education ever hope to become a scientist? But Luna refused to let their words limit her. She understood that her mind was her greatest asset. Every day, Luna would walk miles to the nearest library, devouring every book she could find on science and technology. She didn't have a computer, so she practiced coding by writing programs on paper. When others were sleeping, she was studying under the dim light of a kerosene lamp. Years passed, and Luna's unwavering commitment to her dream began to pay off. She earned a scholarship to a prestigious university, where she excelled in her studies. Today, Luna leads a team of researchers developing sustainable energy solutions that are changing lives across the globe. Luna's story teaches us a profound lesson. Your circumstances don't define you. Your mind does. The power of your thoughts, your determination, and your vision can overcome any obstacle. Your mind is the source of all creation. Everything you see around you, the buildings, the technology, the art, all began as a thought in someone's chair you are sitting on. The clothes you are wearing, even the words I am speaking, they all originated from an idea. This creative power is not reserved for a select few. It's a gift bestowed upon every single one of us. The question is, are you harnessing this power? Many of us go through life on autopilot, allowing our thoughts to run wild without direction. We become passive observers of our own lives rather than active creators. But when you begin to consciously direct your thoughts, to channel your mental energy towards your goals and dreams, you tap into an incredible source of power. Every great achievement in human history began with a thought. The Wright brothers didn't accept that humans couldn't fly. They envisioned a world where we could soar through the skies. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't accept the status quo. He dared to dream of a world where all people were treated equally. These visionaries used their minds as weapons against limitation and impossibility. Your mind is not just a tool for creativity. It's also your greatest ally in overcoming adversity. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and moments of doubt. In these times, your mind can be either your greatest asset or your most formidable enemy. When faced with obstacles, many people allow their minds to focus on the negative. They dwell on what could go wrong, on their past failures, on the opinions of others who say it can't be done. This negative focus becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, draining their energy and motivation. But those who understand the power of their minds approach challenges differently. They see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth and innovation. They use their mental strength to stay focused on solutions rather than problems. There was a man named David who had a passion for music. He dreamed of becoming a renowned composer, creating symphonies that would move people's hearts. But there was one significant challenge. David was deaf. Many people would have given up on such a dream. They would have allowed the limitation to define them. But David refused to let his physical condition dictate his destiny. He understood that his mind was his strongest weapon. David spent years studying the vibrations of different instruments. He learned to feel the music through touch and visualize it in his mind. He composed in his head, creating complex harmonies and melodies that he could never hear with his ears. Today, David's compositions are performed in concert halls around the world. Audiences are moved to tears by the beauty of his music. Music created by a man who has never heard a single note. David's story reminds us that our limitations exist primarily in our minds. When we choose to focus on our strengths rather than our weaknesses, when we refuse to accept artificial boundaries, we unlock our true potential. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in the battle against fear and self-doubt. These are the silent killers of dreams, the invisible chains that hold so many people back from achieving greatness. Fear whispers in your ear, telling you that you are not good enough, that you will fail, that you should play it safe. Self-doubt makes you question your abilities, your worth, your very right to pursue your dreams. Fear and self-doubt are nothing more than thoughts. And thoughts can be changed. When you understand that you have the power to choose your thoughts, to redirect your focus, you gain control over these negative emotions. You can acknowledge fear and self-doubt when they arise. But you don't have to let them control you. Instead, you can choose to focus on thoughts of courage, confidence, and possibility. You can remind yourself of your past successes, of the challenges you have already overcome. You can visualize your future self having achieved your goals and draw strength from that vision. This mental discipline does not come easily. It requires practice, consistency, and a willingness to challenge your own limiting beliefs. But with time and effort, you can train your mind to be a powerful ally rather than a saboteur. The role of your mind in shaping your reality. There's a fundamental truth that many people overlook. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. The life you are living right now is largely a result of your dominant thoughts and beliefs. If you constantly focus on lack and limitation, you will find evidence of scarcity everywhere you look. If you believe that success is for other people but not for you, you will subconsciously sabotage your own efforts. On the other hand, when you cultivate a mindset of abundance and possibility, you will start to see opportunities when others see obstacles. When you truly believe in your own potential, you will take actions aligned with that belief. And your reality will begin to shift. This is not some mystical process. It's simply a recognition of the fact that your thoughts influence your emotions. Your emotions drive your actions. And your actions create your results. Consider the story of Michael, a young entrepreneur who started his business during an economic downturn. While others saw only doom and gloom, Michael chose to focus on the opportunities that the challenging times presented. He realized that in times of change, there are always new needs to be met, new problems to be solved. Instead of lamenting the difficult circumstances, Michael used his mind to identify gaps in the market that others had overlooked. He worked tirelessly, fueled by his vision of success. When others told him he was crazy to start a business in such uncertain times, he chose to listen to his inner voice that said, "This is your moment." Today, Michael's company is a leader in its industry, employing hundreds of people and making a positive impact on countless lives, all because he used his mind as a weapon against negativity and limitation. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in the pursuit of personal growth and self-improvement. The human brain has an incredible capacity for learning and adaptation. This neuroplasticity means that you are never too old to learn new skills, change habits, or reshape your personality. Your brain will adapt and grow in the direction of your dominant thoughts and focus. If you constantly tell yourself that you can't learn new things, that you are too old or not smart enough, your brain will believe you. It won't put in the effort to form new neural connections. On the other hand, when you approach life with a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work, you unlock your potential for continuous improvement. This is why lifelong learners often stay mentally sharp well into old age, by constantly challenging their minds. By remaining curious and open to new ideas, they keep their brains active and adaptable. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in maintaining your health and well-being. The connection between mind and body is far more profound than many people realize. Your thoughts and emotions have a direct impact on your physical health. Chronic stress, anxiety. And negative thinking patterns can weaken your immune system, increase inflammation in your body, and contribute to a host of health problems. Conversely, positive thinking, gratitude, a sense of purpose have been linked to better health outcomes, increased longevity, and a higher quality of life. This does not mean you should ignore genuine health concerns or replace medical treatment with positive thinking. But it does mean that cultivating a positive mindset can be a powerful complement to other health practices. Moreover, your mind plays a crucial role in developing and maintaining healthy habits, whether you are trying to eat better, exercise more, or break a bad habit. Your success largely depends on your mental approach. If you approach a new habit with dread, seeing it as a punishment or deprivation, you are unlikely to stick with it long term. But if you reframe it in your mind as a positive choice, as a step towards becoming the person you want to be, you are much more likely to maintain that habit. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in building and maintaining relationships. The quality of your relationships largely depends on your mindset and your emotional intelligence. If you approach relationships with a scarcity mindset, always looking out for what you can rather than what you can, you will struggle to form deep, meaningful connections. If you let past hurts make you distrustful and closed off, you will miss out on the joy and growth that comes from genuine human connection. But when you cultivate a mindset of abundance and empathy, when you choose to see the best in others and to be genuinely interested in their perspectives and experiences, you open yourself up to rich, fulfilling relationships. This applies not just to personal relationships, but to professional ones as well. Your ability to collaborate effectively, to lead with vision and empathy, to navigate conflicts and negotiate win solutions, all of these crucial skills depend on your mindset and emotional intelligence. The role of your mind in achieving success. Success, however you define it, is not a matter of luck or circumstance. It's a result of consistent thoughts and actions aligned with your goals. Many people fail to achieve their goals not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they lack the mental discipline to stay focused and persistent in the face of challenges and setbacks. Your mind is the battleground where the war between instant gratification and long-term success is fought. It's where you decide, moment by moment, whether to take the easy path or the path that leads to growth and achievement. This is why developing mental toughness is so crucial. Mental toughness is not about being hard or emotionless. It's about having the discipline to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's about bouncing back from failures and learning from them rather than being defeated by them. Consider the story of Anna, a young athlete who dreamed of competing in the Olympics. Anna had talent, no doubt, but so did many of her competitors. What set Anna apart was her mental toughness. While others complained about early morning training sessions, Anna embraced them as opportunities to improve. When she faced setbacks, injuries, losses, moments of self-doubt, she used them as fuel to work harder and smarter. Anna's coaches often remarked that her physical training was impressive, but it was her mental game that truly set her apart. She visualized her success daily, not just seeing herself on the podium, but feeling the weight of the medal, hearing the national anthem play. When the Olympic trials came, Anna was ready not just physically, but mentally. While other athletes crumbled under the pressure, Anna thrived on it. She saw it not as a threat, but as a challenge to rise to her best. Today, Anna is an Olympic gold medalist, but more than that, she's an inspiration to others, showing what's possible when you harness the power of your mind. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in navigating the rapidly changing world we live in. In an era of unprecedented technological advancement and social change, adaptability is more crucial than ever. Those who cling rigidly to old ways of thinking, who resist change and new ideas, often find themselves left behind. But those who maintain a flexible, open mindset, who are willing to unlearn old paradigms and embrace new possibilities, are able to thrive in this dynamic environment. This adaptability starts in your mind. It's about cultivating curiosity, being willing to question your own assumptions, and seeing change not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and innovation. Consider the story of Robert, a middle-aged professional who had worked in the same industry for decades. When new technologies began to disrupt his field, many of Robert's colleagues panicked. They saw these changes as a threat to their livelihoods and resisted them at every turn. But Robert took a different approach. Instead of fear, he chose curiosity. He saw these new technologies not as a threat, but as an exciting opportunity to learn and grow. While others complained about having to learn new skills, Robert dove in with enthusiasm. He spent his evenings and weekends learning about these new technologies. He sought out younger colleagues, not to compete with them, but to learn from them. He approached each day with a beginner's mindset, eager to discover new things. As a result, when his company began to implement these new technologies, Robert was at the forefront. He became a valuable bridge between the old ways and the new, able to guide the company through this transition. Today, Robert is thriving in his career, respected for his adaptability and his willingness to embrace change. All because he used his mind as a weapon against fear and resistance to change. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in creating a life of purpose and meaning. In a world that often emphasizes external markers of success, money, status, possessions, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But true fulfillment does not come from accumulating things or achieving arbitrary societal benchmarks. It comes from living a life aligned with your values, from using your unique gifts to make a positive impact on the world. This alignment starts in your mind. It requires deep reflection on what truly matters to you, on what you want your life to stand for. It requires the courage to define success on your own terms, even if that means going against societal expectations. Consider the story of Lisa, a high-powered corporate lawyer who seemed to have it all, a six-figure salary, a corner office, the respect of her peers. But despite her outward success, Lisa felt empty and unfulfilled. Through deep introspection, Lisa realized that her true passion was environmental conservation. She had always cared deeply about nature, but had pushed that passion aside in pursuit of a successful career. Many people told Lisa she was crazy to consider giving up a prestigious job. But Lisa understood that her mind was her strongest weapon. She used it to envision a different kind of life, one where she could use her legal skills to make a real difference in the world. Today, Lisa works for an international environmental organization, using her legal expertise to fight for conservation efforts around the globe. She earns less money than she did before, but she's never been happier or more fulfilled because she's living a life aligned with her true purpose. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in developing resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and adversity. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way. The difference between those who crumble under these challenges and those who emerge stronger lies in their minds. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulties or pretending that everything is always fine. It's about developing the mental strength to face challenges head on, to learn from them, and to use them as stepping stones to growth. This resilience is built in your mind. It comes from choosing to see challenges as opportunities rather than threats. It comes from focusing on what you control rather than what you can't. It comes from cultivating a growth mindset that sees failures not as final verdicts, but as valuable feedback. Consider the story of James, a successful entrepreneur who lost everything in an economic downturn. His business went bankrupt. He lost his home, and many of his friends abandoned him. It was the kind of setback that could easily break a person's spirit. But James refused to let this setback define him. He understood that his mind was his strongest weapon. Instead of dwelling on what he had lost, he focused on what he had learned. He saw this challenging time not as an end, but as an opportunity for a new beginning. James used his experience to start a new business, one that was more resilient and adaptable to market changes. He also began mentoring other entrepreneurs, sharing the hard-won wisdom from his own failures. Today, James's new business is thriving, and he's respected not just for his success, but for his resilience in the face of adversity. His story inspires others to keep pushing forward, no matter what challenges they face. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in cultivating happiness and contentment. Many people make the mistake of thinking that happiness is something that happens to them, that is dependent on external circumstances. But true, lasting happiness comes from within. It's your mind that interprets your experiences, that assigns meaning to events in your life. Two people can face the same situation and have completely different emotional responses based on their mindset and perspective. This does not mean that you should ignore genuine problems or pretend that everything is always perfect. But it does mean that you have more control over your happiness than you might think. By choosing to focus on the positive aspects of your life, by practicing gratitude, by finding meaning even in difficult circumstances, you can cultivate a sense of contentment and joy that is not dependent on external factors. Consider the story of Maria, a woman who was diagnosed with a chronic illness in her 30s. At first, Maria was devastated. She felt like her life was over, that she would never be Kiaki again. But Maria refused to let her illness define her happiness. She understood that while she couldn't control her health, she could control her response to it. She began to focus on the things she could still do rather than dwelling on what she had lost. Maria started a support group for others with her condition, finding purpose in helping others navigate their own health challenges. She discovered new hobbies that were compatible with her physical limitations, exploring creative pursuits she had never had time for before. Most importantly, Maria cultivated a mindset of gratitude. Each day she would take time to appreciate the small joys in her life, the warmth of sunlight on her face, the kindness of a friend, the taste of her favorite tea. Over time, she found that despite her health challenges, she was happier and more content than she had ever been before. Maria's story reminds us that happiness is not about having a perfect life. It's about appreciating the life you have and making the most of every moment. It's a choice we make, day by day, moment by moment. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in breaking free from the chains of comparison. In today's interconnected world, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of constantly comparing ourselves to others. Social media presents us with carefully curated highlights of other people's lives, making it seem like everyone else is more successful, more attractive, more fulfilled than we are. But this comparison game is a losing battle. There will always be someone who seems to have more, to be doing better. When we constantly measure ourselves against others, we rob ourselves of joy and undermine our own progress. The key to breaking free from this trap lies in your mind. It's about choosing to focus on your own journey, your own growth. Rather than measuring yourself against others, recognizing that everyone's path is unique. And that true fulfillment comes not from outpacing others, but from becoming the best version of yourself. Consider the story of Alex, a young writer who dreamed of publishing a novel. Alex spent years working on his book, pouring his heart and soul into every page. But as he neared completion, he began to doubt himself. He looked at the bestseller lists, at the accolades other authors were receiving, and felt that his own work paled in comparison. Alex almost gave up on his dream, convinced that his book would never be good enough. But then he had a realization. He understood that his mind was his strongest weapon, and he was using it against himself. He was so focused on comparing his work to others that he had lost sight of his own unique voice, his own story that only he could tell. Alex made a conscious decision to shift his focus. Instead of worrying about how his book would measure up to others, he concentrated on making it the best expression of his own vision. He reconnected with the joy of writing, with the passion that had driven him to start this journey in the first place. When Alex finally published his book, it didn't top any bestseller lists, but it found its audience, readers who connected deeply with his unique perspective. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment no external validation could match. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in cultivating empathy and understanding. In a world that often seems divided, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to understand and respect different perspectives, is more crucial than ever. Empathy is not just about being nice or polite. It's a powerful tool for building meaningful connections, resolving conflicts, and creating positive change in the world. And it all starts in your mind. Cultivating empathy requires a willingness to challenge your own assumptions, to step outside your comfort zone, and to truly listen to others without judgment. It requires the mental flexibility to consider viewpoints that may be very different from your own. Emma, a community leader who was faced with a deeply divided neighborhood. There were long-standing conflicts between different groups, each convinced that they were right and the others were wrong. Emma recognized that if she was going to make any progress, she needed to use her mind as a weapon against prejudice and misunderstanding. She began by listening, really listening, to all sides. She made a conscious effort to suspend her own judgments and to try to understand where a group was coming from. It wasn't easy. Emma had to confront her own biases and preconceptions. She had to resist the temptation to take sides or to take quick fixes. But she persisted, using her mind to find common ground, to identify shared values and goals beneath the surface conflicts. Over time, Emma's approach began to bear fruit. As she modeled empathy and understanding, others in the community began to follow suit. Slowly but surely, the divisions began to heal. People who had once seen each other as enemies began to work together to solve common problems. Emma's story shows us the transformative power of empathy. When we use our minds to truly understand others, we open up possibilities for connection and collaboration that we might never have imagined. Your mind is also your strongest weapon in cultivating creativity and innovation. In a world that's constantly changing, the ability to think outside the box, to come up with novel solutions to problems, is invaluable. Many people believe that creativity is a fixed trait, that you are either born creative or you are not. But this is a misconception. Creativity is a skill that can be developed and strengthened, and it all starts in your mind. Cultivating creativity requires a willingness to question the status quo, to challenge assumptions, and to make unexpected connections. It requires the courage to risk and to embrace failure as a necessary part of the creative process. This journey of mental mastery is not always easy. There will be times when doubt creeps in, when old habits reassert themselves, when the easier path seems more appealing. But remember, every moment of challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your mental muscles, to reaffirm your commitment to growth and self-improvement. I challenge you to see your mind in a new light, not just the organ that processes information or solves problems, but as your most powerful ally in creating the life you desire. See it as the paintbrush with which you can color your world, the chisel with which you can sculpt your destiny. Remember, you are not a passive observer of your thoughts. You are their creator, their curator. You have the power to choose which thoughts to nurture and which to let go. You have the ability to reframe challenges as opportunities, to find lessons in failures, to see possibilities where others see only obstacles. Your mind is a garden. The thoughts you plant and nurture today will grow into the reality you experience tomorrow. So choose your mental seeds wisely. Plant thoughts of possibility, of growth, of kindness. Water them with attention and positive action. Watch as they blossom into a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. Remember that you are not alone. We are all on this path together, each of us learning, growing, stumbling at times, but always moving forward. Share your insights with others. Seek out those who uplift and inspire you. Be a beacon of positivity and possibility for those around you. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And the journey to unlocking the full potential of your mind begins with a single thought. A thought that says, I am capable, I am worthy, I have the power to shape my destiny. So let that thought be the first of many. Let it be the spark that ignites a fire of transformation in your life. Let it be the first brushstroke on the masterpiece that is your future. Your mind truly is your strongest weapon. It's time to pick it up, to sharpen it, to wield it with purpose and conviction. The world is waiting for the unique that only you can bring. It's time to unleash the power of your mind and step into the fullness of who you were meant to be.